Welcome to All Things Retreat Podcast. I'm Holly Porter, your host and CEO of Retreat R&R. With over 25 years of experience in designing transformative retreats, I'm here to share insights and inspiration to help you create extraordinary experiences. Whether you're a pro or just starting out, you'll find valuable ideas here. Enjoy the ride. Let's dive in. Hello and welcome everyone. Today's guest is Allison McCune Davis, and she is an author, traditional naturopath, if I said that right, an entrepreneur, and a mother of 5. For more than 14 years, she's helped people pursue better health while building business and raising a family. Now through her book, 60 is a Good Start, she's challenging everything we think and know about aging. Yay. Instead of seeing 60 as the beginning of the end, Allison believes it's the beginning of one of life's most meaningful and vibrant chapters. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's so good to be here.
Yeah. I have to always add in my little 2 cents, because that's how my brain works. So I love that. It's funny, it seems like we turn 50 and everybody goes, well, my life's half over. And I'm thinking, well, how many live to be 100?
Right. I know.
I mean, it's all a mindset, right?
It is. Yes. I remember one of my friends was like, oh, you're, at 60, you're entering the gateway to old age. I was just like, no, I don't like that.
My body's telling me different just from having, long COVID from my whole COVID experience. It's like, it's a screaming. I'm 80.
There are a few changes that happen. Yes.
That's true. Yeah. But you know what? Go with the flow. You adapt. You just mind over matter.
Yes.
Sure. Well, okay. So let's talk about you building a business while raising 5 children. What originally inspired you to pursue natural health?
Well, I guess it really started when I lived out in Los Angeles I was probably 30 when this happened. My father was a surgeon. So, I was raised in kind of a traditional medical environment, but I think sort of all of America has been too. So maybe not that different, but I was working out there, and a friend of mine, I had this irritating thing that was happening physically. And this friend was like, oh, you have to go to my TCM doctor. I was like, what is that? And she said, traditional Chinese medicine. And she said, he can totally help you. And I said, okay, well, why not? Let's give it a try. So, he was busy. It took me like 6 weeks to get in. And I go in and he does all this muscle testing. You know what muscle testing is, right?
Oh, yeah,
and,
I do it.
Yeah. And so with all these substances, environmental things in little vials or foods, different things like that. Finally, he said, all right, you need to take these herbs. I don't even remember what they were. And you need to have no dairy for probably a year. You may be able to get back on dairy at that point. We'll see. You may not. I was able to. But anyway, I was just like, okay, I'm going to try this. And I realized I was eating dairy at every meal. Typical bad diet of cereal and milk, cheese and crackers, pasta and cheese. That was kind of my standard diet at 30, and it worked, and then it never came back. And so that was just my initial, like, oh my gosh, herbs from the ground, plants, right? And diet, what I'm eating can fix an issue, a symptom, a whatever, as opposed to over-the-counter drugs or prescription medicine that I had used and hadn't worked. I mean, maybe it worked temporarily, but like the root cause wasn't figured out. And so that just was really interesting to me. And so for the next, from then on, I just was little by little more interested. And I mean, I was about another decade later, I'd moved back to middle America and found my first naturopath doctor. And, that was 25 years ago. So, it just becomes a belief system of like what we have. The body is just this natural organism, made by God. And it's just, we got to put the right things in it. We got to do the right things. But modernity has made that a bit of a problem, especially in, first world countries. So.
Well, I know your focus is more on, women 60 and above, but you women listening that are younger than that, you're going to get there someday. So
not true for everybody. The younger you start doing the right things, the better, for sure.
Right. Yeah. It's like, it's kind of like reminds me of, when I don't know about you, but my age, when we were younger, I was in the Las Vegas sun on a black trampoline with tinfoil underneath me and baby oil, and I'm a redhead. Come on. I
Oh
mean, talk
my,
about a
yes.
recipe for disaster. It's like
Right.
I've had melanoma 3 times now. It's like you're
Hmm.
just asking for trouble. So it's sometimes those things that, like you said, you were eating cereal and milk and things that
Right.
weren't,
Right. Just,
helping your body.
yeah,
And I think a lot of people are more conscious now than ever.
absolutely.
I
For sure.
really do. And I think, I mean, I definitely go all natural if possible.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
when
It's always
I
the
got,
first way to look, right? And then
yeah,
if
yeah,
that's not working, but sometimes that takes a little
yeah,
longer
it
than
does.
a
And
pill, it's doing a
yeah.
certain action in your body, but
But I think
it's going
listening
to
to
be
our body
ultimate.
and being intuitive really
Yes.
is the key.
It
Yeah, for
is the
sure.
key. It is the key because everyone's different. You
Yeah.
know, there are generalities that kind of apply to, human bodies, but
Yeah.
everybody is different.
Yeah.
Different
But
mind,
there's solutions and there's different ways to fix things and
Yeah.
opinions. I've noticed that, with the long COVID that I got, it was like no doctors knew. They were like listening to me because I knew more than them by how
Mhm.
I was, what I was
Mhm.
doing. It was like self-medicating myself, figuring out different ways to help it. And like I said, sometimes they're just opinions, and don't ever be afraid to get a second one for
Oh
sure.
gosh, for sure.
Or third.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
My goodness.
So, as a traditional naturopath, what are some of the biggest mistakes that you see women making with their health after 50?
Well, I mean, two of the biggest things that I think we have to focus on and be intentional about are the amount of protein that we're eating,
Yeah.
right? And also building muscle. I mean, those two, and yeah, everybody's talking about it. So I hope everybody's knows that already. Maybe my algorithms are just full of that stuff. So I
Pushing
see it
protein right now for
all
sure
the
where I'm
time.
looking.
But we have to have the protein to build the muscle, and we have to have the
Yeah.
muscle to be mobile. And I watched my mother. She died, I guess it was 2018, and those last few years, she was kind of in a wheelchair, a walker, and then a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And her diet, when I think back about her diet, it was just awful. It was the same thing every day. It was full
Mhm.
of sugar, and her muscles just wasted away,
Yeah.
and her brain did a little bit too.
Yep.
So I think about that a lot, and boy, it has to be intentional. Like, one of my favorite lines is, "Your future is hidden in your daily routine."
Yeah.
And so, what is your daily routine? Or your weekly routine? Are
Mhm.
you going to the gym or somehow, doing resistance training to build those muscles? Especially
Right.
like if you had to pick one area, it'd be the waist down, like the legs, right?
Yeah.
They have to carry us and do all those things. You
Yeah.
want to be able to sit down on the floor and, whatever, and get up
Right. Right. For
easily.
sure.
Right. But so I think I don't, there's a point in there where I think women do make that realization, but that I think those two things are really key and really
Mhm.
where I'll speak for myself. I was 55 when I had my first child at 37. So I was later than most in all of this. And I was 55 when I finally said, "Oh my gosh, if I don't start exercising regularly," so this is 10 years ago,
Yeah.
um, I'm not going to be here to be the mom. Like, the
Yeah.
mom, it's like you're the hub of the whole
Right.
family unit, or even, in whatever your family is, you are. And so if you're not filling that cup up first, put the oxygen mask on you first and then
Yep.
like who you're with. If you're not doing what you need to physically be here and well, then that's not good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I finally, when I was 55, I just hit a threshold on that subject. And I just, had to take it to the extreme in my mind and say, okay, my life is going to revolve around, it started out, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I am going to this gym. I am going to pay for, class or train or whatever.
Yep.
And everything's going to revolve around it. And, whatever
Yeah.
my kids need or my husband needs, it's just going to have to revolve around that. Because there's always an excuse.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
such and such happened. Oh, that day I had to go. Oh, so and so called. Oh, something happened. There's always an excuse, and it's just about keeping promises to ourselves. right? We keep them to
Mhm.
other people. We show up, but are
Yeah.
we doing it for us? Are we
Mhm.
keeping the promise we said we would do?
Yeah. I learned one thing, that nobody cares about your health like you should care about your health, and no
Yeah,
one's your own
nobody.
advocate. You're your
That's right.
best advocate,
That's
because
right.
I had 9 doctors for a while. I had never had one like regular ever my whole life. There were like no records when I went to the hospital on me. And it was like 9 doctors. I thought, why on earth would people need more than one? And I
Wow.
had a I had a doctor for everything, a specialist for everything, because I had so many things going wrong. And
Mm.
it was just like, oh my gosh, I mean, they have so many people coming in and out of there. You're
Oh
just a
gosh.
number. I mean,
Oh
there's very few
yes.
doctors who know you by name, who you can have that. I mean, and if you have
Mm-hmm.
one, boy, hang on to them, because they're
Mm-hmm.
rare, and then will actually
Right.
just listen to you, spend time with you.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be your own advocate,
True.
not just your health. I mean, life too, but
Yes.
definitely your health.
Yes.
Let's jump into talking a little bit about retreats.
Okay.
Why do you believe retreats could play a powerful role during these transitions with women?
I mean, you know, what happens in this life transition that for me, it hit me when I was 60. That's why I ended up writing the book. But,
Yeah.
for others, maybe it's 50 or, just somewhere in there where you've spent the majority of your adult life giving to
Yeah.
kids, probably kids. I think it's 85% of women have children. So most of the women, that's what they've been doing for decades.
Right.
And, right. Or, it could be, gosh, it could be 30 years or 40 years, depending on how many you had, but your whole life is giving to that. And
Hmm.
so they start to leave the nest, which is the goal. And then all of a sudden you're just like, oh my gosh, wait, what am I doing? What is my
Yeah.
role? What is my purpose?
Yeah.
And, that's a real, like, it's like a midlife crisis kind of thing.
Yeah.
You hear about that in terms of men, but it's women too. And it's just like really
Mhm.
finding that purpose again, because you do have one, until you die, I think.
Yeah.
But what's so beautiful about this time in our life is that we now have some brain space, like, right? Some margin in our brain to consider and to think about what might be something that I want to do now that's exciting, that makes me, wake up in the morning and
Right.
be thrilled for the day and what I'm going to do. Because I definitely wasn't feeling that for a while, and it was like,
Yeah.
oh, I got to figure this out. Like, so of course, retreats, oh my gosh, what woman doesn't think the sound of a retreat, and there's a million different topics of retreats out there, but that can be an incredible place to help women reorient for this new time in life,
Yeah.
this very exciting time in life, because you've got the brain space and you've got the wisdom
Yeah.
of all these decades of life. That's huge.
It is huge. Yeah,
And
for
what
sure.
a great place to go on a retreat and really, just kind of sink into, whatever it is, various meditation times, or just,
Hmm.
journaling key questions to, purpose type things. And,
Yeah.
it's a great place to do something like that.
For sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. If you were going to design a retreat for women over 60, what would that look like for you?
Well, it would need to be in a beautiful place, of course. To me, I love the beach, so something at an ocean retreat spot would be wonderful. But I would want to spend. I would want to sort of design it between doing the physical things, like eating really good food, really healthy food, focusing more on protein, vegetables, some just
Mm.
healthy food, to because some people don't really know how to
Oh,
do that. They don't, and maybe now the kids are gone, they're just like cooking for one or two. Who knows
right.
if they live alone? And so maybe having a portion of it really focused on, look, these are the things you can eat they're easy to make and they're good for
Yeah.
you, and it's just not hard. Like, here's a list of 5 great things you could have for breakfast every day. Right? I
Yeah.
mean, I got a list like that a few years ago, and I look at it all the time just to help me figure that out. But drinking enough water, getting into movement, just going through that whole thing. Maybe you're doing some yoga. Maybe you're going on some gorgeous walks. Maybe you're focusing a little bit on, how do I lift weights? Do
Mhm.
some people probably don't even know how to do that at this point.
Yeah.
actually had a job when I was 19 years old, a summer job at a gym where I learned how to lift weights. And, then I went back to school. But that
Yeah.
little experience was so informative, and I've kind of kept that in my mind. But you kind of have to learn a few things about that. So,
Yeah.
some probably grounding with the bare feet in the grass, that's super good
Hmm.
for us. That, probably some deep breathing exercises that
Yeah.
can, you can sort of put that with a little meditation too. But I would address just those would just be the physical things. But, we'd have some mental, emotional, and some like, what does your outer world look like? What do your
Hmm.
relationships look like? And we'd have a lot of stuff on purpose and
Yeah.
figuring that out. There's exercises you can do for that. So it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's true. Well, I'm going to challenge you. 1 year
Well, it's
from
been in the
today.
back of my mind.
Yeah, no, definitely. We definitely love supporting retreat leaders. What do you think is our greatest contribution that we can come to later in life?
Our greatest contribution. Well, everybody's is different, but when we say purpose, what that really means is we're serving somebody
Hmm.
in some way, and it might be that it's 1,000 women at some event, or it might be that it's the grandchildren that need your wisdom. And right, it might be in that situation, like a few people. So we all have to figure out what that is.
Yeah,
And I have a process for that. So it's answering a lot of questions, and it's
yeah.
journaling
It's always
a lot of
asking
stuff.
questions.
Yeah. So everybody's different. And,
Yeah.
a lot of people find their new purpose through just different things. I mean, it could be through volunteering, and
Hmm.
then you've got some people that are extroverts and some that are introverts. And
Yeah.
those
Extroverted.
introverts, they love to stay home.
Yeah.
But boy, having relationships is one of the keys to longevity, which is one of my sort of fascinations in life is how these people live to be 100, 120. That's crazy. What'd they do? What was their secret?
Yeah. I
That's a
had a
big part
grandma
of
that
it.
lived to be almost 107, and I'm like, wow, I think
Wow.
she died from breast cancer, of all things. So, yeah, pretty wild. If you could give your 40-year-old self one piece of advice, what would it be?
It probably would be to get that revelation I got at 55 that I just told you about exercising
Yeah.
earlier. Everyone's
Yeah.
going to be fine. You can leave the house. You got to figure it out, like get a babysitter or do it when your
Yeah.
husband comes home or get a friend to swap back and forth or
Sure.
something. But figure that out. And you need that time, not only just physically, but for your mental well being.
Hmm.
Gosh, we know that one of the biggest antidotes to depression is physical exercise. Walks out of the house and walk down the street, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's the solution to everything for everybody, but it's a big one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Moving the
It
body,
is.
deep breathing, getting the heart going.
How would you define living well?
Well, I would basically, it would be knowing your purpose, spending a little time on it every day or a lot of time on it every day, doing those physical things that keep your body in shape, eating right, sleeping well, drinking enough water, moving your body. Those are just the very basic fundamentals. If you're just get outside, get in the sun, get your feet in the dirt or the grass, whatever. A little bit of, if you're doing, and those things don't take that long. It's
No.
just so easy to sit around and be a couch potato,
Yeah.
and which kind of just brings you down. And, and so I think it's so important to have community too,
Yeah.
because we lift each other up. I mean, it's just
For sure.
amazing to me. I experience it, I'll just find myself being alone and I am an introvert. So I do enjoy that. But I can tell when that line is, it's like, okay, I need to be around some people. I need to be,
Yeah.
with other women, just in community, whether that's
Yeah.
on a Zoom call, because I do some of those, and or in person. In
Yeah.
person's always best, for sure. It's always best. But if you can't do that, get in a group on any subject. There's so
Yeah.
many out there, so it's purpose, it's relationships, it's your physical health, and your mental health too, which those are all intertwined,
Yeah.
not
It's
like
interesting.
it's all about lowering stress too. All of those go to
Oh,
that,
absolutely.
right?
My top values, it's build relationships, build community, build prosperity, like in that order.
Yeah, I
And that's
love
just
that.
what you're talking about. And I feel
Mhm.
like with the International Retreat Association creating that, that's what it's about for me. It's
Mm,
about having those relationships in the community, and
yes,
by building the relationships, you are building the community, and
yes,
so
that's right.
important to me. So I hope
That's right.
others feel that too.
I love that.
Okay, you ready for some rapid fire? Okay. No right or wrong answer, just top of mind, one word, one sentence. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Kind of a night owl. I like to have slow mornings.
Do you like the mountains or the beach?
The beach.
What's your favorite healthy snack?
Gosh, my favorite might be those. Now, this would be like taking the place of bad snacks, but the
Yeah.
Lily's dark chocolate. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I
I
have.
love that.
Okay. What's a one daily non-negotiable for you?
It's slow mornings. That is my daily non-negotiable. Like I don't book
Favorite?
anything until noon or later.
Okay. What's your favorite way to recharge?
Being alone, but I love to needlepoint. So I love to, that's kind of my reward at the end of the day. But it's also I think we all need kind of a creative outlet like that. Something to do with our hands is really good. They're saying grandma hobbies are back. So just sitting there needlepointing something and maybe watching something on TV at the same time.
I love it. Well, thanks, Allison, for coming and being on the show today. We are going to put all your information in the show notes so people can go and find you. Is your website, does that have your book, how they can get your book as well?
Yes, it's there. Which is myfullname.com.
Okay,
And it's, wherever books are sold.
perfect. And say the name of it, the full name.
60 is a good start.
Love it. 60 is a good start. So, and don't wait till you're 60 to have to learn all that.
Yes.
Okay. Well, everyone, I guess we'll see you next time on the show. Thanks for joining us. I hope you grab some tips so that you can help your life and your business move forward. And we will see you next time. Bye for now. Thanks for joining us on this episode of All Things Retreat. We hope you're leaving with new ideas, fresh inspiration, and the motivation to take your retreats to the next level. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. It helps us grow and reach more retreat leaders like you. And if you have any questions, topics you'd like us to cover, or just want to say hello, send us an email at info@weretreatrnr.com. Follow us on social media to stay connected and catch all the latest updates. Until next time, remember, great retreats start with great intentions. Let's make them extraordinary, one step at a time. Thinking about hosting a retreat? Before you dive in, let's make sure you're really ready. Grab your free Are You Retreat Ready checklist and find out if you've got everything in place from your purpose and pricing to your audience and agenda. Don't guess. Get clear. This quick checklist will show you exactly where you stand and what you need to make your retreat a success. Click the link below in the show notes to grab your gift and take the first step toward hosting with confidence.